David Johnson, a hard-working black man in his early 30s, had always dreamed of opening his own restaurant. He had saved diligently for years and finally felt ready to take the plunge. Armed with a solid business plan and boundless enthusiasm, David walked into his local bank, confident that he would secure the loan needed to make his dream a reality. David met with Mr. Thompson, the bank's loan officer, in a pristine office filled with certificates and awards. He presented his plan, detailing his vision for a unique soul food restaurant that would not only serve delicious meals but also become a community hub. Mr. Thompson listened with a polite smile but seemed uninterested. After a brief review of David's documents, Mr. Thompson cleared his throat and delivered the disappointing news. "I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson, but we can't approve your loan application at this time. We believe the market for this type of restaurant is too risky, and your financial background doesn't meet our criteria." David felt his heart sink. He had anticipated some challenges, but had not expected outright denial. He tried to argue his case, emphasizing his years of experience in the food industry and the strong support from the community. However, Mr. Thompson remained firm. "Our decision is final, Mr. Johnson. There's nothing more to discuss." David left the bank feeling defeated and humiliated. As he walked back to his modest apartment, he couldn't help but feel that his race had played a part in the denial. He had seen other, less prepared individuals receive loans without issue. The sting of discrimination was hard to ignore. That evening, David sat alone in his small living room, staring at the meticulously crafted business plan that now felt like a cruel joke. Doubts crept in, and for a moment, he considered giving up on his dream. But as the night wore on, his despair began to transform into determination. He decided that he would not let this setback define him. Instead, he would find another way to make his dream come true. The next morning, David woke up with renewed resolve. He had spent the night brainstorming alternative ways to fund his restaurant. As he sipped his morning coffee, an idea began to take shape. If the bank wouldn't support him, perhaps the community he wanted to serve would. David decided to turn to crowdfunding. He had heard of people using platforms like Kickstarter and GoFundMe to raise money for personal and business projects. It was a long shot, but he felt it was worth a try. He grabbed his laptop and started outlining his campaign. He crafted a compelling story about his journey, his passion for cooking, and his vision for the restaurant. He emphasized how the restaurant would not only offer great food, but also provide jobs and become a community gathering spot. David included photos of his best dishes and a heartfelt video where he spoke directly to potential supporters, sharing his dreams and asking for their help. As he worked, he felt a mixture of hope and anxiety. Crowdfunding was unpredictable, and there were no guarantees. But David knew that if he could reach the hearts of people who believed in his vision, he stood a chance. He set a modest initial goal, enough to cover the basics to get the restaurant started, and promised that any extra funds would be used to improve and expand the business. By the end of the day, David's crowdfunding campaign was live. He shared it on social media, emailed it to friends and family, and even posted flyers around his neighborhood. As he hit the submit button, he felt a rush of adrenaline. The waiting game had begun. David spent the next few days obsessively checking the campaign page, watching the donations slowly trickle in. At first, progress was slow. Friends and family contributed what they could, but it wasn't enough. Just as doubts began to creep back in, something incredible happened. A local news station picked up his story. The local news station's coverage of David's crowdfunding campaign was the breakthrough he desperately needed. The story aired during the evening news, featuring clips from David's heartfelt video and interviews with him and a few supportive neighbors. They highlighted his dedication, his culinary talent, and the unfair treatment he had faced at the bank. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Overnight, David's crowdfunding campaign saw a significant increase in donations. People from all over the city were touched by his story and wanted to help. Comments flooded the campaign page, filled with words of encouragement and support. "Don't give up, David. We believe in you. Looking forward to dining at your restaurant soon. Your story is so inspiring. Can't wait to taste your food." David couldn't believe his eyes. Donations poured in from strangers, local businesses, and even a few celebrities who had caught wind of his story. The initial goal was quickly surpassed, and the momentum showed no signs of slowing down. It was clear that the community wanted to see David succeed. As the campaign continued to grow, David realized he needed to start planning the next steps. He began scouting locations for the restaurant, reaching out to contractors, and making a list of equipment and supplies he would need. Every day brought new challenges and decisions, but David faced them with a sense of excitement and gratitude. Meanwhile, the media attention continued to build. More news outlets picked up the story, and David was invited to speak on local radio shows and podcasts. He used these opportunities to thank everyone who had supported him and to share his vision for the restaurant. His genuine passion and determination resonated with listeners, further boosting his campaign. David's phone rang constantly with calls and messages from well-wishers and potential business partners. It was a whirlwind, but he embraced it, knowing that this was his chance to turn his dream into reality. The outpouring of support had reignited his confidence and given him the resources he needed to succeed. A week into the campaign, David received an unexpected call from the bank that had denied his loan application. The branch manager, Mr. Thompson, was on the other end of the line, his tone markedly different from their previous interaction. "David, this is Mr. Thompson from First National Bank. I hope you're well." David was taken aback, but managed a polite response. "Yes, Mr. Thompson. How can I help you?" "Well, David," Mr. Thompson began, his voice tinged with what seemed like regret, "I've been following the news and your crowdfunding campaign. First, I want to congratulate you on the overwhelming support you've received. It's truly remarkable." "Thank you," David replied cautiously, unsure where the conversation was heading. "The bank has been receiving a lot of feedback from the community, and I personally have had some time to reflect on our decision. I understand now that we made a mistake in not supporting your loan application. Given the success of your campaign and the evident community support, we'd like to reconsider your loan." David was stunned. This was the same bank that had dismissed his application without a second thought. Now, after seeing his success, they wanted to backtrack. He took a moment to compose himself before responding. "Mr. Thompson, I appreciate your call and your reconsideration. However, I've already raised more than enough through crowdfunding to start my restaurant. The community believed in me when the bank did not. I think I'll stick with their support." There was a pause on the other end of the line. "I understand, David," Mr. Thompson finally said. "If there's anything else the bank can do to assist you, please don't hesitate to reach out." After ending the call, David felt a rush of emotions: vindication, relief, and a renewed sense of purpose. The bank's change of heart was a testament to the power of community support and perseverance. News of the bank's offer and David's gracious decline quickly spread. People admired his integrity and resolve. His story continued to gain traction, inspiring others who faced similar challenges. The big day had finally arrived, the grand opening of David's restaurant, Soulful Plates. The sun shone brightly, casting a warm glow on the colorful banners and balloons adorning the entrance. The smell of delicious food wafted through the air, drawing a growing crowd. David stood at the entrance, dressed smartly in his chef's whites, a broad smile on his face. He couldn't believe this day had come. Months of hard work, planning, and community support had culminated in this moment. Beside him were his family and friends, all beaming with pride. "David, this is incredible," his mother said, tears of joy in her eyes. "Your father would be so proud." David hugged her tightly. "Thanks, Mom. I couldn't have done it without everyone's support." As the crowd gathered, David stepped forward to address them. "Thank you all for being here today," he began, his voice strong and clear. "This restaurant is not just mine, it's ours. It's a testament to what we can achieve when we come together as a community. I am deeply grateful to each and every one of you for believing in me and supporting this dream." Cheers and applause erupted from the crowd. Among them, David spotted familiar faces, neighbors, friends, and even strangers who had contributed to his crowdfunding campaign. Their presence filled him with gratitude and determination to make Soulful Plates a success. "Now," David continued with a smile, "who's ready to eat?" The restaurant doors swung open, and the crowd eagerly streamed in. Inside, the decor reflected David's vision, a cozy, welcoming atmosphere with vibrant artwork celebrating African-American culture. The menu, a fusion of traditional soul food and modern cuisine, featured dishes like fried chicken with a twist, savory collard greens, and sweet potato pie. David and his team moved seamlessly through the bustling restaurant, serving plates of food and sharing stories with the customers. The sound of laughter and clinking silverware filled the air. It was a joyous celebration of community and resilience. Throughout the day, David received numerous compliments on the food and the ambience. Local media representatives who had followed his journey were there, capturing the excitement and interviewing satisfied customers. The buzz around Soulful Plates continued to grow, solidifying its place as a new favorite in the neighborhood. As the evening drew to a close, David took a moment to step back and absorb the scene. The restaurant was still buzzing with energy, and the faces of happy customers warmed his heart. He had turned a moment of rejection into an opportunity for growth and success, and the journey had only just begun. "David, you did it," his best friend Marcus said, clapping him on the back. "Soulful Plates is a hit." David smiled, a sense of fulfillment washing over him. "We did it," he corrected. "This is just the beginning. There's so much more we can achieve together." A few weeks after the grand opening, Soulful Plates had firmly established itself as a popular spot in the neighborhood. The restaurant was often filled with a lively mix of regulars and newcomers, all eager to experience David's culinary creations. One busy Saturday afternoon, while David was working in the kitchen, an unexpected visitor walked through the door. Rebecca, the loan officer who had denied David's loan application, stepped inside. She looked around, clearly impressed by the bustling restaurant and the vibrant atmosphere. As she approached the counter, David's mother, who often helped out during peak hours, recognized her. "Can I help you?" she asked, her tone polite but curious. "Yes," Rebecca replied, scanning the room. "I'm looking for David." David's mother nodded and called out, "David, someone's here to see you." David emerged from the kitchen, wiping his hands on a towel. When he saw Rebecca, he felt a mix of emotions: surprise, curiosity, and a touch of apprehension. He walked over to greet her. "Rebecca, hi," he said, offering a smile. "I wasn't expecting to see you here." Rebecca smiled back, though there was a hint of nervousness in her eyes. "Hi, David. I heard about your restaurant's success, and I wanted to see it for myself. It's really impressive." David nodded, still unsure of her intentions. "Thank you. We've worked hard to make it a reality." Rebecca hesitated for a moment before continuing. "I also wanted to apologize for how things went down with your loan application. I realize now that I underestimated you and your vision. Seeing this place, it's clear you were more than capable of making your dream a reality." David appreciated her words, but couldn't forget the sting of her earlier rejection. "It wasn't easy," he admitted, "but sometimes obstacles push us to find new ways to succeed. I'm grateful for the support from my community. They believed in me when others didn't." Rebecca looked genuinely remorseful. "I understand, and I hope you can accept my apology. I was wrong, and I'm glad to see you proving that." David paused, considering her apology. "Thank you, Rebecca. It means a lot to hear that. But this success isn't just mine. It's a collective effort, and I'm proud of what we've built together." Rebecca nodded, looking around at the bustling restaurant once more. "I can see that. Your story is truly inspiring, David. If there's anything I can do to support you moving forward, please let me know." David extended his hand, and Rebecca shook it firmly. "I appreciate that. Maybe you can help spread the word about Soulful Plates. We're always looking to welcome more people into our community." Rebecca smiled. "Absolutely. I'll do that. And who knows, maybe I'll become a regular customer myself." As Rebecca left the restaurant, David felt a sense of closure. Her visit was a reminder of how far he had come and the impact of resilience and community support. It reinforced his commitment to his dream and the people who believed in him. Word about David's remarkable journey spread beyond the neighborhood, catching the attention of local media. A journalist from a prominent local newspaper reached out to David, expressing interest in featuring his story in an upcoming issue. David, though initially hesitant about being in the spotlight, agreed, recognizing the potential to inspire others and bring more attention to Soulful Plates. The following week, the journalist, a young woman named Sarah, arrived at the restaurant for the interview. She was warm and enthusiastic, immediately putting David at ease. They sat at one of the tables near the window, the late afternoon sun casting a warm glow over the bustling dining area. "David, thank you for taking the time to speak with me," Sarah began, her notepad and recorder at the ready. "Your story has already inspired many, and I'm excited to share it with a broader audience." David smiled, a mix of humility and pride in his expression. "Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad to have the opportunity to share my journey. It's been quite a ride." Sarah nodded, glancing around the vibrant restaurant. "I can see the love and effort that's gone into this place. Can you tell me about the moment you decided to start Soulful Plates?" David took a deep breath, thinking back to that pivotal moment. "It was a combination of things. I've always loved cooking and bringing people together through food. But what really pushed me was the rejection I faced when trying to secure a loan. It was a harsh reminder of the challenges people like me often face. Instead of giving up, I decided to take a different route, with the support of my community." Sarah scribbled notes, nodding thoughtfully. "That's truly inspiring. Can you share more about the role your community played in making this dream a reality?" David's eyes brightened as he spoke about his neighbors, friends, and family. They were everything. From helping with the renovations to spreading the word, their support was unwavering. "It's not just my restaurant, it's ours. We've created something special together." Sarah smiled, clearly moved by his words. "It sounds like a true community effort. What challenges did you face along the way, and how did you overcome them?" David recounted the various obstacles, from financial struggles to logistical issues. He emphasized the resilience and resourcefulness that got them through the toughest times. "We faced many hurdles, but each one made us stronger. We learned to adapt and find creative solutions. The key was never losing sight of our goal." As the interview continued, David shared more personal anecdotes and insights, painting a vivid picture of his journey. Sarah was captivated by his passion and determination, and she knew his story would resonate with many. A week later, the article was published, featuring David's journey prominently on the front page of the local newspaper. The response was overwhelming. People from all over the city flocked to Soulful Plates, eager to experience the restaurant and support David's vision. The increased attention also brought new opportunities, from partnerships with local suppliers to invitations to community events. David was grateful for the exposure, but he remained grounded, always remembering the roots of his success. The article not only highlighted his achievements, but also underscored the importance of community, resilience, and the power of pursuing one's dreams despite adversity. The media coverage brought an influx of new customers and attention to Soulful Plates, but it also brought something even more valuable: an outpouring of community support. People from different neighborhoods, backgrounds, and walks of life came together, united by their desire to support David and his mission. One evening, shortly after the article was published, David noticed a group of local business owners gathered in the restaurant. They were engaged in animated conversation, occasionally glancing in his direction. Curious, David approached them. "Good evening, everyone," he greeted with a warm smile. "I hope you're enjoying your meal. Is there anything I can do for you?" One of the business owners, a woman named Linda, who ran a nearby bookstore, stood up and extended her hand. "David, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. We've been following your story, and we're all incredibly impressed by what you've accomplished." David shook her hand, feeling a surge of pride. "Thank you, Linda. I'm grateful for all the support." Linda nodded. "We've been talking about how we can help you further. Your story has inspired us, and we believe in your vision for Soulful Plates and the community. We want to offer our resources and expertise to support your restaurant." David was taken aback by their generosity. "That's incredibly kind of you. What do you have in mind?" Another business owner, Tom, who ran a local hardware store, spoke up. "We can help with any renovations or repairs you need. I've got a team that can assist you with anything from plumbing to electrical work." Linda chimed in. "I can organize a book signing event at my store, with the proceeds going to support Soulful Plates. It will not only bring more customers your way, but also raise awareness about your mission." A third business owner, Raj, who owned a popular cafe, added, "I'd love to collaborate on a community event. We could host a food festival featuring dishes from different local restaurants, with Soulful Plates as the highlight. It would be a great way to celebrate our community and your achievements." David was overwhelmed by their offers. "I don't know what to say. This is amazing. Thank you all so much." Linda smiled. "We're all in this together, David. Your success is our success. We believe in supporting each other and building a stronger community." Over the next few weeks, the business owners made good on their promises. Tom's team helped upgrade the kitchen and dining area, making Soulful Plates even more inviting. Linda's book signing event drew a large crowd, raising significant funds and bringing in new customers. Roger's Food Festival was a huge success, showcasing the best of the local culinary scene and putting Soulful Plates in the spotlight. The support from the community didn't stop there. Local musicians volunteered to perform at the restaurant, creating a lively and welcoming atmosphere. Artists offered to display their work, adding a unique touch to the decor. Volunteers from various community organizations pitched in to help with events and promotions. David was deeply moved by the outpouring of support. Every day, he saw firsthand the impact of his decision to persevere and pursue his dream. The restaurant was thriving, not just because of the delicious food, but because of the sense of community and belonging that it fostered. One evening, after a particularly busy day, David sat down with his team. "I want to thank each and every one of you," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "None of this would be possible without your hard work and dedication. We've created something truly special here, and it's all because of you." His team smiled, their faces reflecting the pride and joy they felt. They had become more than colleagues. They were a family, united by a common goal and a shared sense of purpose. As the night wore on, David took a moment to reflect on his journey. He thought about the challenges he had faced, the support he had received, and the incredible community that had rallied around him. He knew there would be more obstacles ahead, but he was confident that with the continued support of his community, Soulful Plates would continue to thrive. With the restaurant thriving and the support of the community stronger than ever, David began to think about the future. Soulful Plates was doing exceptionally well, but David had always envisioned more. He wanted to expand his reach and share his passion for soul food with even more people. One evening, as he sat in his office going over the day's receipts, he received a call from an unfamiliar number. He answered, curious to see who it might be. "Hello, this is David," he said. "David, this is Stephanie Richards from Urban Eats magazine," came the reply. "We've been following your story and the incredible success of Soulful Plates. I'd love to discuss a potential feature in our next issue, as well as a business opportunity that might interest you." David's heart skipped a beat. Urban Eats was a well-respected publication in the culinary world. "Thank you, Stephanie. I'd be honored to be featured in your magazine, and I'm definitely interested in hearing about this opportunity." "Great. How about we meet for coffee tomorrow morning? I'll be at the cafe on 5th and Main at 10 a.m. David agreed and hung up, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. The next morning, he dressed in his best business casual attire and made his way to the cafe. Stephanie was already there, a professional-looking woman in her early 40s with a friendly smile. "David, it's great to meet you," she said, extending her hand. "Likewise, Stephanie. Thank you for reaching out," David replied, shaking her hand. They ordered their drinks and sat down. Stephanie wasted no time getting to the point. "David, your story has touched a lot of people, and your restaurant is a shining example of resilience and community spirit. We'd love to feature you in our magazine, but that's not all. I've been speaking with some investors who are interested in helping you expand Soulful Plates." David was taken aback. "Expand? What do you mean?" Stephanie smiled. "They want to help you open new locations. Imagine Soulful Plates in multiple cities, bringing your unique blend of soul food and community focus to a wider audience. We believe it has the potential to become a national chain." David's mind raced with possibilities. "That's an incredible offer, Stephanie. But expanding like that would be a huge undertaking. I'm not sure I'm ready for it. I understand, Stephanie said, nodding. It's a big step. But with the right support and guidance, you could make it happen. The investors I'm talking about are not just offering financial backing. They also want to provide mentorship and resources to help you navigate the expansion process. David took a deep breath. I'd need to think about it. This restaurant means so much to me and the community. I don't want to lose what makes it special. Of course, Stephanie said. Take your time. We can discuss it further after the magazine feature. I'm confident that once you see the potential, you'll be excited about the possibilities. Over the next few weeks, Stephanie and her team worked closely with David to prepare the feature. They interviewed him, photographed the restaurant, and even spoke with some of the regular customers who had been part of Soulful Plate's journey from the beginning. The article, when it was published, was a hit. It captured the essence of Soulful Plates and the incredible story of its founder. The feature brought even more attention to the restaurant, and David found himself busier than ever. Customers from all over came to experience the food and atmosphere they had read about. The increased traffic was both exhilarating and overwhelming, and it reinforced the idea that expansion could be a viable path forward. One evening, as David was closing up the restaurant, he gathered his team for a meeting. "I've been given an incredible opportunity," he began, explaining the offer from the investors. "It's a chance to expand Soulful Plates and bring our food and message to a wider audience. But I need to know what you all think." His team listened intently, their faces reflecting a mix of excitement and concern. After a moment of silence, Maria, one of his longest-serving employees, spoke up. "David, we believe in you and your vision. If you think expanding is the right move, we're behind you 100%. The others nodded in agreement, their expressions filled with determination. David felt a surge of gratitude and pride. "Thank you all. I couldn't do this without you. Let's take this next step together." With his team's support, David decided to move forward with the expansion plans. He contacted Stephanie and the investors, and together they began to lay the groundwork for opening new locations. It was a daunting task, but David felt ready. He knew that with the right team and community behind him, anything was possible. Months of planning and preparation culminated in the grand opening of the second Soulful Plates location. This new restaurant was in a bustling downtown area, chosen for its vibrant community and potential to attract a diverse clientele. The interior echoed the warmth and charm of the original, with rustic wooden tables, cozy booths, and walls adorned with artwork depicting the rich history of soul food. David stood at the entrance, greeting guests with a broad smile. The line stretched around the block, filled with curious locals, food enthusiasts, and loyal customers from the original location who had come to show their support. Among them were Stephanie Richards and several of the investors who had believed in David's vision. "Congratulations, David," Stephanie said, giving him a hug. "This is an incredible turnout." "Thank you, Stephanie," David replied, feeling a mix of pride and nervous energy. "I couldn't have done it without you and everyone who believed in this dream." As the doors opened, the restaurant quickly filled with people eager to taste the soulful dishes that had made the original Soulful Plates a beloved spot. David moved through the crowd, chatting with customers, ensuring everything ran smoothly, and occasionally retreating to the kitchen to check on his team. Maria, now the head chef at the new location, managed the kitchen with precision and grace. "How's it going back here?" David asked, stepping into the bustling kitchen. "Everything's running smoothly," Maria replied, her face glowing with excitement. "The team is doing great, and the customers seemed to love the food. David nodded, feeling a sense of relief. "That's great to hear. Keep up the fantastic work." As the evening progressed, the restaurant buzzed with energy. Laughter and conversation filled the air, mingling with a mouth-watering aroma of fried chicken, collard greens, and cornbread. The atmosphere was electric, a testament to the hard work and dedication that had gone into making this night a success. At one point, David took a moment to step outside and catch his breath. He looked up at the sign above the entrance, "Soulful Plates," and felt a swell of emotion. This was more than just a restaurant. It was a symbol of resilience, community, and the power of believing in oneself. Just then, he was approached by an older woman who had been waiting in line. "Excuse me, are you David?" she asked. "Yes, I am," David replied, curious. "I've been following your story," she said, a warm smile spreading across her face. "I wanted to thank you for what you're doing. My grandson dreams of becoming a chef, and your story has inspired him to pursue his passion." David felt a lump in his throat. "Thank you so much for telling me that. It means the world to me." The woman nodded. "Keep doing what you're doing. You're making a difference." As the night wound down, David gathered his team for a toast. "To all of you," he began, holding up a glass. "Thank you for your hard work, dedication, and belief in this dream. Tonight was just the beginning. Here's to many more nights like this." The team cheered, their faces reflecting the same determination and hope that had driven David from the start. As they clinked glasses, David felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The journey had been challenging, but it had also been incredibly rewarding. The grand opening was a resounding success, and news of the event spread quickly. The next day, social media buzzed with rave reviews and photos of the new restaurant. Local news outlets covered the story, highlighting David's inspiring journey from rejection to triumph. The following weeks were a whirlwind. The new location continued to draw large crowds, and David found himself busier than ever. He split his time between the two restaurants, ensuring that both maintained the high standards and warm atmosphere that had become the hallmark of Soulful Plates. Despite the hectic schedule, David made time for the community. He organized cooking classes for local youth, partnered with nearby schools for mentorship programs, and continued to host events that brought people together. The support he received in return was overwhelming, reinforcing his belief in the power of community. One evening, as David was closing up the new location, he received a call from one of the investors. "David, we've been approached by several cities interested in having a Soulful Plates of their own," the investor said. "Are you ready to take this to the next level?" David smiled, feeling a familiar mix of excitement and determination. "Yes," he replied, "I'm ready. Let's bring Soulful Plates to even more communities." The journey was far from over, but David knew that with hard work, a dedicated team, and the unwavering support of the community, the future held endless possibilities. Soulful Plates had become more than just a restaurant. It was a movement, a testament to resilience, and a beacon of hope for anyone who dared to dream. As word of Soulful Plates' success spread, the restaurant quickly became a topic of national conversation. Food critics from renowned publications visited to experience the celebrated dishes firsthand. Reviews were overwhelmingly positive, praising not only the food but also the inclusive and welcoming atmosphere David had cultivated. One day, David received an unexpected phone call. It was from a producer at a popular television show that highlighted inspiring stories and successful entrepreneurs. "David, we've been following your journey and are incredibly impressed," the producer said. We'd love to feature you and Soulful Plates on our show. Are you interested?" David's heart raced with excitement. This could be the break that would take Soulful Plates to an even wider audience. "I'd be honored," he replied, trying to keep his voice steady. "When can we set this up?" A few weeks later, a film crew arrived at the original Soulful Plates location. They spent the day capturing the essence of the restaurant, the bustling kitchen, the lively dining area, and the heartfelt interactions between David, his team, and the customers. David shared his story, from the day he was denied service at the luxury store to the moment he decided to open his first restaurant. He spoke about the challenges, the support he received, and the incredible journey of building something meaningful from scratch. The episode aired on a Sunday evening, and the response was immediate and overwhelming. Social media exploded with messages of support and admiration. People from all over the country reached out, expressing how David's story had inspired them. The restaurant's website saw a surge in traffic, and reservations skyrocketed. One of the most touching messages came from a young man in the Midwest. "David, your story moved me to tears," he wrote. "I've always dreamed of opening my own business, but I never thought I could do it. Seeing what you've accomplished gives me hope. Thank you for showing me that it's possible." David read the message several times, deeply moved by the impact his journey had on others. It was moments like these that reinforced his commitment to his mission and gave him the strength to keep pushing forward. The national exposure opened up new opportunities for Soulful Plates. Offers for partnerships, speaking engagements, and even a cookbook deal started pouring in. David carefully considered each one, always mindful of staying true to the values that had guided him from the beginning. One day, David received an invitation to speak at a prestigious culinary conference. The event brought together some of the most influential chefs, restaurateurs, and food critics in the country. David felt a mix of excitement and nerves as he prepared for his speech. This was his chance to share his story with an even larger audience and to inspire others to pursue their dreams, no matter the obstacles. As he stood on stage, looking out at the sea of faces, David took a deep breath. "Thank you for having me here today," he began. "I want to tell you a story. It's a story about resilience, community, and the power of believing in yourself." David spoke from the heart, recounting the pivotal moments of his journey. He talked about the day he was denied service, the support he received from Stephanie Richards and the investors, the opening of the second location, and the overwhelming response from the community. He emphasized the importance of staying true to one's values and the incredible impact that a supportive community can have. When he finished, the room erupted in applause. David felt a swell of pride and gratitude. He had come a long way from that fateful day at the luxury store, and he knew that this was just the beginning. The future was full of possibilities, and he was ready to embrace them all. After the conference, David was approached by several attendees who wanted to collaborate or learn more about his approach to building a successful, community-focused business. One chef, in particular, stood out. She was the owner of a chain of high-end restaurants and was eager to partner with David on a new venture. "David, your story is incredibly inspiring," she said. "I'd love to work with you on a project that combines our culinary talents and brings people together in a meaningful way." David considered the offer, recognizing the potential to expand his reach and make an even greater impact. "I'd love to explore this further," he replied, excited about the possibilities. The next few months were a whirlwind of planning and collaboration. David and his new partner worked tirelessly to develop a concept that combined the warmth and inclusivity of Soulful Plates with the sophistication of high-end dining. They envisioned a space where people from all walks of life could come together to enjoy exceptional food and share their stories. As they prepared for the grand opening of their new venture, David felt a sense of fulfillment and anticipation. He had come a long way, but he knew that this was just the beginning. With each new project, he was determined to continue spreading the message of resilience, community, and the power of believing in oneself. The new venture, called Unity Table, opened its doors to great anticipation and excitement. Located in a bustling part of the city, the restaurant promised a unique dining experience that combined the heart and soul of soulful plates with the elegance and sophistication of fine dining. The mission was clear: to create a space where people from all backgrounds could come together, share a meal, and connect on a deeper level. On opening night, the restaurant was filled with a diverse crowd: food critics, influencers, community leaders, and curious locals eager to experience what Unity Table had to offer. The atmosphere was electric, filled with the aroma of gourmet dishes and the sound of lively conversations. David stood at the entrance, greeting guests and feeling a mixture of pride and gratitude. This was the culmination of months of hard work and collaboration. He was particularly excited to see many familiar faces from the Soulful Plates community, who had come to show their support. As the evening progressed, David made his rounds, ensuring everything ran smoothly. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive, with guests praising the innovative menu, the welcoming ambience, and the sense of community that permeated the space. Unity Table was more than just a restaurant. It was a testament to what could be achieved when people came together with a shared vision. After the initial success of Unity Table, David and his partner focused on ways to give back to the community. They launched a series of initiatives aimed at empowering others and providing opportunities for those in need. One of their first projects was a culinary training program for underprivileged youth. David knew firsthand the power of a second chance, and wanted to create a pathway for young people to build successful careers in the culinary industry. The program offered hands-on training, mentorship, and job placement assistance. Participants had the opportunity to work alongside experienced chefs at Unity Table, gaining valuable skills and experience. One of the first students to enroll in the program was a young man named Jamal. He had a troubled past and had struggled to find his footing. David saw potential in Jamal and took him under his wing. Over the next few months, Jamal flourished, showing a natural talent for cooking and a strong work ethic. He quickly became an integral part of the Unity Table team. One evening, after a particularly busy service, Jamal approached David. "I just wanted to thank you for giving me this chance," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "You've changed my life." David smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "You've done the hard work, Jamal. I'm just glad I could help you see your potential. Keep pushing forward, and the sky's the limit." The culinary training program was just the beginning. David and his partner also launched a series of community events at Unity Table, including charity dinners, cultural celebrations, and educational workshops. Each event was designed to bring people together, foster understanding, and support local causes. The impact of Unity Table extended far beyond the walls of the restaurant. David received letters and messages from people across the country who had been inspired by his story. Many shared their own experiences of overcoming adversity and expressed gratitude for the hope and motivation David had provided. One day, David received an invitation to speak at a national conference on social entrepreneurship. The event brought together leaders and innovators from various industries to discuss ways to create positive change through business. David was honored to be included and saw it as an opportunity to share his journey and inspire others. Standing on stage in front of a packed audience, David felt a familiar mix of nerves and excitement. "Good afternoon, everyone," he began, his voice steady. "I want to share with you a story of resilience, community, and the power of believing in oneself." David recounted the pivotal moments of his journey, from the day he was denied service at the luxury store to the opening of Soulful Plates and the launch of Unity Table. He spoke about the challenges, the support he received, and the importance of staying true to one's values. He emphasized the impact of creating spaces that foster inclusivity and empower others. When he finished, the audience gave him a standing ovation. David felt a swell of pride and gratitude. He had come a long way, but he knew there was still much work to be done. The future was full of possibilities, and he was ready to continue making a difference. After the conference, David was approached by several attendees who wanted to collaborate or learn more about his approach to building a successful, community-focused business. One social entrepreneur, in particular, stood out. She was the founder of an organization that provided support to minority-owned businesses and was eager to partner with David on a new initiative. "David, your story is incredibly inspiring," she said. "I'd love to work with you on a project that supports aspiring entrepreneurs from underserved communities. Together, we can provide them with the resources and mentorship they need to succeed." David considered the offer, recognizing the potential to expand his reach and make an even greater impact. "I'd love to explore this further," he replied, excited about the possibilities. The next few months were a whirlwind of planning and collaboration. David and his new partner worked tirelessly to develop a comprehensive program that offered training, mentorship, and funding opportunities to aspiring entrepreneurs. They envisioned a future where more people could turn their dreams into reality, just as David had. As they prepared to launch the new initiative, David felt a sense of fulfillment and anticipation. He had come a long way from that fateful day at the luxury store, and he knew that this was just the beginning. With each new project, he was determined to continue spreading the message of resilience, community, and the power of believing in oneself. The launch event for the new initiative was a resounding success. Held at Unity Table, the event brought together a diverse group of aspiring entrepreneurs, business leaders, and community members. The atmosphere was electric, filled with hope and excitement for the future. David stood at the podium, looking out at the sea of faces. "Thank you all for being here today," he began, his voice filled with emotion. "This initiative is about more than just providing resources and mentorship. It's about empowering people to believe in themselves and their dreams." He shared the stories of some of the program's first participants, highlighting their determination and potential. As he spoke, David felt a deep sense of pride and gratitude. He had turned a moment of discrimination into a movement of empowerment and inclusivity. The future was bright, and David was ready to embrace it with open arms. Together with his partners, he was determined to continue making a difference, one life at a time. The journey was far from over, but with each step forward, David knew they were building a better, more inclusive world.